Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk for America.
I'm Mac, CEO of National Streaming Sports Network and the host of the Mac and Jack Sports Show, and you're watching Our Lady of Sports, Sonia Pearson, host of Prim and Proper Sports. Thanks for watching.
Hi, guys. Happy Valentine's Day from Lawson and I and Prim and Proper Sports. He has his Be Mine handkerchief bandana on tonight. I hope you guys are ready for a very special edition of Prim and Proper Sports. Y'all, first of all, let me just say J-Train is always on time. He's literally just like a train, never late, always dependable. Let me bring everybody on one at a time because we have two special guests backed by popular demand that have graced my platform before, and they are so kind to grace me once again. But let me bring J-Train on because he's my normal Friday with the fellas. Brother Jay, what's going on? How are you? Happy Valentine's Day.
Same to you, sis. I'm doing well. I hope you are too, and hope you have a very, very happy Valentine's Day as well.
Thank you so much. And then we're going to bring back Tip, Dallas Cowboy extraordinaire and podcaster extraordinaire, Tipton Sports. Mike, how are you? Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to y'all as well. I'm happy to be here. I apologize for the way that I sound. So it's Friday. It's Valentine's. It's going to be a little more sexy than normal.
Oh, well, hey, here for it. Listen, at least, I'm here for it. I can say that, this is the ladies' podcast. I'm sure the ladies will appreciate it. And speaking of appreciation, I had to bring back my Wednesday night guest, the What Up Doe himself, Mr. Brian B-Strilla Art, the host of One ASS Cheek, Three Toes. Brian B-Strilla, what up, Doe? Happy Valentine's Day.
What up, Doe? What up, Doe fellas? What up, Doe lady? How you guys doing today?
We doing
great. Well, brother.
I'm doing so great. Now that you guys are all here, let me just tell our audience. So I hope y'all had a better Valentine's Day than I did. I literally almost reran today's show because today was so crappy. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to run another one. But once I get with the guys and we talk sports, that's always like a really good, not only a crowd pleaser, but also a emotional booster for me because, I love sports. It helps you put a smile on your face. And y'all, we just had a freaking Super Bowl. And there's no way I should be missing my Friday with the fellas without talking about that stank ASS Super Bowl. So welcome one and all. So glad that you guys could join us tonight. Make sure you download the Roku app and follow me at Professional Sports. Shout out to Linda and Mac over there, the great producers extraordinaire, and the Huddle Sports Network. Mike Carico and that whole Frozen Tundra network of what up, though, Mr. Bryant, the NFC North. They run that whole podcast section over there. So hope everybody's doing good. And looks like RM Dizzle's back. Your homie, what up, Slap Nuts? What's going on? He's trying to make this horrible already.
Robbie's hilarious.
All right. So I have not had a chance to talk to all of y'all. Let's just dive right in. And then, of course, we're going to bring in some NBA, of course, NBA news. And then y'all, March Madness is right around the corner. So this is going to be a little bit more fast-paced than normal. So if I need to repeat myself, just let me know. Super Bowl, we're going to go ahead and run back to that Sunday. If you don't know, if you've been hiding under a rock, if you've been out of space, the Eagles are your Super Bowl 59 champions. They had a parade today. Travis Kelce was not there this year because it was not his team. Jason Kelce, his former team, I think someone said he made an appearance because that's his former team. Eagles flying all over the place. It wasn't even a game. Kansas City clearly didn't show up. Not the Patty Mahomes we've been seeing. Tip, what were your thoughts as you looked at that game? I know J Train and I followed the first half of it with Mac on the NFL download last Sunday night. So we watched it firsthand, and it just was like an out of control car with a driver that had passed out at the wheel at some point.
So I had gone out of town, and I did like the Jose Cuervo train in Guadalajara, Mexico on Saturday. I'm having a good old time. I am vibing, man. Everyone else I went with, they're dealing with hangovers. I'm at the bar since like noon all the way till game time, right? And I'm in a good mood. I'm ready for this game. And it just felt like in the first quarter, flat. I'm in Mexico. I should be having the time of my life right now. And instead, I'm watching this game. Like I have videos, like everyone in the bar is just like hanging out, like, oh, this there's a game on right now that no one cares about because it was that damn bad. I thought Kansas City was going to win this game. I thought maybe if they lose, it'll be a close game. Nowhere in my mind did I think that they were going to get blown out like this. So for me, and then like I'm a Cowboys fan, so I have to deal with all these Eagles fans being happy, and I just don't like it. Like I'm done with it. Your happiness should be done for the remainder of my life.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, first of all, welcome back. We're so glad you got back from Guadalajara. I've been over to Puerto Vallarta, and they are about that life over there. In fact, I was over there, J Train. I hate to bring this up; it's a bad memory for you. I was over there the season that brain freeze. The New Orleans Saints had just missed the NFC South, so I was over there when the Rams were playing in the Super Bowl, and I thought, they weren't going to be paying that much attention to it either because, it's Mexico. But, as the NFL evolves, it's everywhere. And so, it looks like, Tip brought his drinks back with him. I mean, I've been back. I haven't been back yet a week from Hawaii, so I could say
I'm jelly now.
Yeah, like we're both international, between the both of us, we've been across the water. So, that makes perfect sense. Strilla, I mean, I know your sentiments about the NFC North. You guys very well should have been there rather than the Eagles. You definitely would have made it a more, well, I don't know. The Chiefs didn't even show up. But I mean, in my opinion, Washington eliminated you guys. Sorry to repeat that, but they did. And I just felt like you guys would have been the more competitive team against the Eagles.
I mean, we'll never know, will we?
You'll never know. It's like you'll never know.
I do like the fact that I hope the NFL schedules the first game of the season at Philadelphia for the Lions because we got to play them. Because I'm getting really sick of Gardner and his big ass mouth. Excuse my language, but yeah, not Sauce. No, CJ.
Oh, CJ, yeah.
Talking about it was hell in Detroit. That's fool because you got hurt, you dummy. And then you try to talk all that crap to everybody with the blue mask BS that he did with us. And then Seattle came in there and just used that against us after they beat us. I was like, dude, you know what? Just shut up and play football. I'm tired of you. And then he gets hurt and he comes back for 3 games and he's telling is hell in Detroit. No, dude, you were hell in Detroit. That's what it was. That's why you ain't coming back because you suck.
I mean, J Train, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, we saw it firsthand as it was occurring. I really didn't think it was going to be a blowout like that, to be honest with you. It just felt like all of a sudden the train was off the tracks. No pun intended for your name, but I never saw it looking like that. Like Kansas was nowhere near winning this game, but that's what you have to do. You have to stay at least 2 scores ahead of them to keep them from coming back.
Yeah, Sonya, look, I think I projected Philadelphia to win. I didn't think they were going to win like that, though. Vic Fangio had a great game plan, and what was really more telling. My man Andy Reid didn't have a game plan. He didn't have a game plan second half to come back. Because I mean, I'm thinking when the score is 24-0 at half, that this is kind of a faint reminder of 2016, the 28-3, Falcons versus the Patriots, and they had a game plan, and they had a little bit of luck in some places. And they came back and won that game. And I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes as that guy to say potentially that he can come back and win that game. But they just got punched in the mouth. And Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody's got to play until they get punched in the mouth. And the Eagles defense just punched that offensive line in the mouth heavily until they just KO'd them. And then they made it look interesting at the end, but the game really was 40-6.
Yeah, that game, it really was 50 because Philadelphia missed 2 crucial scores that they ended up settling for field goals. I mean, I don't know. That's what you have to do. You just cannot let up off the gas. Eagles fans are not going to live it down. They're one of the hypest fan bases there is. So congratulations to them. And I mean, was anybody on here wanting Kansas City to win?
I want your team to win. I hope that ended in a tie.
Right.
F both teams. I can't stand either one of them.
What about you, Tip? I know that's your NFC East.
Yeah, like my whole thing was like I either wanted an asteroid to hit Earth or for Kansas City to win. Like there was
just not no cities. Just not no cities.
No, I mean, like if that's how I go, I would be the hat. Like that's the way I want to go. You know what I mean? Like if it's my time, I get to watch Philadelphia get this close to winning a Super Bowl, and they don't get it. Send me up. Like I'm ready.
And what's up, Matt Henry? Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Always a supporter of the show. Good to see you. Matt, what is that decor you got? Is that UGA or is that Kansas? What is happening with? Tell us what team that is. Either one, they're both losers. If it's either
looks
one,
like Ohio State.
It looks like Iowa State.
It's Ohio State. My bad.
Yeah. Oh God.
Okay, so Dizzle, who is your team? He's 49ers, right? Strilla.
Who's that?
Your friend RM Dizzle.
Robbie.
Yeah.
Robbie is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Oh, Pittsburgh. Yeah, and I actually had Pittsburgh being the team to possibly come in and upset. But speaking of Pittsburgh, because y'all know NFL news doesn't stop. We're moving on from the Super Bowl garbage. 30% less viewership except the halftime show. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. Most viewed halftime in NFL history. Of course, Strilla and I pointed out Wednesday. Well, Strilla did like, hey, we got social media now. You got TikTok. You got everybody streaming. Of course, there's going to be more viewership. But Strilla, I did look into it, and it's actually network viewership, not counting streams. So it was the affiliate, and that's big. Yeah. That's big considering he outdid Prince, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, that Justin Timberlake. But like that is huge that in this day and era, that just goes to show what type of artist he is. So shout out.
Tells you everybody showed up for halftime. They showed up for the game.
Everyone showed up for halftime because we kind of knew what was going to happen, and we were not disappointed.
Yes, and and now
shout out to Serena Williams, by the way.
Jeez. I was just about to talk about her. She's got the whole nation crip walking. I mean, somebody's on Instagram earlier doing a tutorial, and I'm saving it to take notes because I'm trying to learn how to do it. I mean, I don't have the little hop she has, but it just seemed like it's cool. I don't want to be no crip. Let me put that out there. I just want to do the dance because I'm not, I'm coordinatedly challenged, if there's such a word. So if I can do that, what, I mean, that is hard. So shout out to them and shout out to SZA looking like a younger version of Shaka Khan out there. I didn't know that SZA and Serena were both Drake's exes. And shout out to Drake. He just released an album today on Valentine's Day. So
I don't know if you guys, you should check her movie out too, SZA's movie with
okay.
She got a movie with what's her face in it. It's funny as heck. Too.
Okay, I'm gonna have to.
It is hilarious.
Well, there you go. And shout out to your Buckeye Nation. We know about the Ohio State, Matt. I mean, we thought we were gonna get away from that tonight because our other host, Anthony Fernandez, is not on tonight. But J Train looks like somebody pulled it out again. Like, man, we didn't need to see the national champions on it. We know who Buckeye Nation is, but thank you for typing all that in.
How many games did they lose? Oh, yeah, it was one. And who was it to? The University of Michigan.
Shout out A-Train.
Yes, shout out A-Train, because we know you somewhere sneaking and watching on your phone, bro. And you too, Kevin, over at the hospital. Those are our other two brothers, our standard brothers from Friday with the Fellas. And so, yeah, there seems to be some steam. I wanted to kind of pivot a little bit as somebody brought up Pittsburgh, since that's RM Dizzle's team. Seems like there's some static with Mike Tomlin and two coaches on his platform up there in Pittsburgh. We already know that there's rumors that Russell Wilson probably will not return. What do you guys think about the whole fiasco in Pittsburgh? Is this just something trying to keep the momentum going with them, or are there legit concerns?
I think you had to be concerned like from day one with Pittsburgh, right? Like even with Russell Wilson, we kind of didn't expect them to be as good as they were. And we saw at the end of the season, like the wheels fell off, right? Like Pittsburgh to me has so much more problems, and I think it's because they're holding on to Tomlin too long, right? Like I love Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin is a great coach, a Hall of Fame coach, but sometimes you just overstay your welcome. And I think it's time for him to find a new destination. And Pittsburgh needs to try to find a new voice to come in and change the messaging that's there because it just doesn't seem like it's working anymore.
I mean, I feel the same way, Strilla, but I mean, let's be clear. This is Pittsburgh. They do not fire their coaches. I mean, they keep a coach almost as long as re-election presidencies in Pittsburgh. I mean, is it time for Tomlin to maybe take a break, go do some Sean Payton stuff, do some commentary, take a year off, take 2 years off, and then possibly come back to the league? Maybe not even to Pittsburgh.
Well, I think I mean the only reason why he's staying around here because he manages to have a winning season every time. And the Rooneys, I mean, in football, business is winning. And if you keep winning, even if you don't get in the playoffs and win a game, sometimes that keeps you around. The Lions had that for a minute with a couple of coaches where they were winning and they just kept them in there. And it's like, okay, but we're not advancing past certain thing. Your goal for your organization is to win the Super Bowl. That should be a goal for any organization. And Pittsburgh indefinitely, because they got 6 rings, right? So that's a home of champions. They're like Dallas, they're like New England. They build those kind of franchises. So it's just I don't know, man. I think Tomlin needs to go to because I think really the players don't respond. It's like the receiver. I don't know really what year he's been a coach where one of the receivers hasn't been a diva.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's had good teams too. Now, when he got into the Super Bowl, he still had remnants of his predecessor's team. So let's also say that too. Tomlin's a great coach. I'm not taking nothing from him. Obviously, if you keep winning every year, you get your team to be have a winning record every year, you're doing something right. But I think it's just the point is everything is stalling out, and the fans are getting restless. They want him to go. It's really all what the Rooneys want to do, though.
Mm-hmm.
So
that makes sense. J Train, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, we keep hearing like little bits and pieces. Some people are divided. They're like, hey, he needs to go. Some people are like, there's no way he's leaving. I mean, I know you have like a very solid understanding of history of football and the coaching history and just a well balanced acumen of football. What are your thoughts on what's going on, especially now that there's another rift in the Steelers camp? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I just have to kind of echo the sentiment of what all three of you have said. I just think that it may be time for him to go, not from the owner standpoint, but from a mental standpoint for Mike Tomlin himself. He may just be overworked. He may just have mental fatigue. And this is a haul. You gotta think about it. You're in the offseason. They're preparing to go to the combine. They're going to in the free agency. And then they're going to go into the draft, and then they go into spring. I mean, go into training, mini camp, and then summer. They go to into camp, and then it's a whole grind. You got to watch film. You got to you got to let guys go, fire them. All this is taxing. All those years, that you've been there, that long time. You can look at his face on the sideline when you see him in the playoffs. It had nothing to do with the players, just the grind. You could just see it. He looked grizzled and tired. So he may need to do take a page out of Sean Payton's book and sit down a second. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's savvy. When he talks to the media, he's no nonsense. I would like to hear somebody like him talking to the media about the game. He's a student of the game. He has a great knowledge of it. And I think he'd be great there. And then maybe if he wants to come back and coach. But my opinion, I think he probably should sit down, just take it himself and sit down.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs a break at some point. And let's go ahead over to the comments real quick. Because this is RM Dizzle's Robbie's team. He says, from what he hears that Tomlin favors off the Russ and Arthur Smith, former Falcons coach, favors Justin Fields. And we've heard that from the beginning, like from the inception of both of those quarterbacks, that it was a coaching preference. Your offensive coordinator is calling all of your offensive plays, but your head coach is calling everything. So it gets very convoluted, and then, offensively, like he said, Tomlin is holding the team back. He said Tomlin is incapable of hiring a good assistant coaches because he doesn't want another coach that can take his job. Wow, that's pretty deep. And that may be what's going on out there.
I don't know about that.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really follow them super much, but I'd like to think that just like kind of like how I know things that are going on in the Panthers camp, possibly Robbie does too. And speaking of Panthers camp, hello, Pink Fanfare. Happy Friday. This is my sister. Everybody knows her now. She's the one that does all the promos and the contact that I can't do. She has her own podcast on this platform as well now. She's on when I'm not. She does makeup tutorials for super fans. And she sits down with super fans of all teams because they are anti-bullying and they have a lot of good nonprofit work that they do. So she sits down and she's a vet. So salute to her for her service. She retired with high decor out of the U.S. Army. So she has a lot of connections with, different players, different, fans of different teams and players across. So hello and good evening to you, and happy Valentine's Day to you, sis. And you are so welcome, and we absolutely love you. And of course, y'all, Google her, Pink Fanfare. She's on YouTube now. She's on all the Facebooks, Instagram, and X. So very easy to remember.
And go Army until you play Navy.
Go Army until you play Navy.
I'm an Air Force veteran. I do not co-sign that at all. So I am.
We got a whole. So hold on. Let me put a screech in that. Looks like we got a whole platform of vets tonight because J Train also served. You're in the Army as well, and then B-Strilla was in the Navy. So hey guys, this is awesome. This is awesome. I was gonna go in the Air Force, but my daddy stopped me, and I mean
salute to service.
So yes,
it's not even that weekend.
You have to remember, all of you guys, when November rolls around for a special presentation. This is awesome to know. Thank you all for your service. Seriously, I know people say that all the time, but I really and truly do mean that, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers.
Thank you for the service, man.
Thank you all.
So getting back to like Pittsburgh, when do we start blaming their front office? Because like they've made no real free agent moves, right? Like signing Russell Wilson, all of us laughed at that because Russ was washed. Like we remember him cooking, it was hot dogs and orange juice, right? Like that was the way that Russ was cooking in Seattle and in Denver. That front office hasn't done anything to help out Mike Tomlin. And it's not like you can look at that team and say, okay, offensively, they have a ton of weapons, right? George Pickens is super bipolar. Najee Harris, he's good, but it doesn't seem like he stays healthy enough, right? Like it's just they haven't done enough to help him out. Like that's where I feel bad for him. Like he's doing this with a garbage squad.
I concur with that.
I mean, I have to say that. I mean, again, I'm a Russ supporter till I die. I think Russ did as much as he could. I mean, George Pickens, man. I mean, this is supposed to be your top guy. I need you to be in here somewhere, all in the game, and seems like he's just out of it. I don't know what's going on. I mean, and he takes off plays. There's evidence when the ball's not coming to him. He doesn't do anything to suggest that the ball might be coming to him. That plays heavily into the game. I mean, so okay, we can just shut him out if we know it's not coming to him because he's not doing anything. It's going somewhere else. Let's double team there. Let's watch. I mean, watching the film, body language is everything in football, especially as a wide receiver. You have to really, I mean, and blocking, man, it's a team game. He's a very selfish player. I hate to say that, man. Just watching everything there. He didn't help his offense at all.
And Pink Fan First says, hold up, y'all. Salute to all of y'all. So salute to all of you, Pink Fan First. Thank you. I wanna have one more comment here about this, and then I got some breaking news that I just saw. Y'all know every time it's NFL not for long, everything changes. Robbie says the only reason Tomlin don't fire Terrell Austin is because it keeps the heat off of him. Tomlin is the real defensive coordinator. I actually agree with that. You guys agree with that?
Well, don't be bad-mouthing Terrell Austin. He's a pretty good defensive coordinator. I mean, if you look at all the games Pittsburgh played this year, a lot of them were decided by the defense. Yeah, Tomlin is a defensive guru too, but Terrell Austin is no slouch. I think that injuries and the defense slowed that production down too. I think T.J. Watt just kind of got disenfranchised with the whole situation. I think he's like, you know what, we got to do something here. I said, I'm getting sick of our defense having to save the offense every time in every game. It's tiring. It's taxing. You know, T.J. Watt is like one of the best defensive ends in the league. You know, I think he's a shade better than Garrett because he gets some sacks. He gets sacks. Last year, he led the league in sacks. So, I'm
looking at it from a different perspective, right? Like as a Dallas Cowboys fan, I would straight up trade Brian Schottenheimer and the entire offense that he's created to Pittsburgh to get Mike Tomlin. Like I would love that. Give me some Mike Tomlin in my life because what I've had recently, it ain't doing it for me. So Pittsburgh, you're charmed. You really are charmed. You've been living a charmed life. It's just time for Tomlin to go somewhere else because I think the message is falling on deaf ears now.
I mean, the fact that y'all brought Schottenheimer or Cheeseburger or whatever his name is, the fact that y'all promoted him from a team that was already losing, they promoted him. They didn't even try to seek outside talent. Lets me know that Dallas is going to have a repeat of what they did this season.
So y'all need to get rid of y'all. I know Tip, this is not something that you guys can do expeditionally because he owns the team, but that's the guy you got to get rid of, Jerry Jones. That dude is being foolish and old, and he's showing it. And senile. There's no way that Dallas Cowboy organization should be as in detriment as it is right now. You got too much talent on that team. There's no way they should be playing the way that they should be playing. Their coaches stink. I don't like McCarthy at all. He was a bad choice for head coach for you guys. I'm sorry. I don't like him. You got rid of one of your best defensive coordinators. Obviously, he did something in Washington. So that tells you something. So, I mean, I just, I thought you guys are turning into what we were a few years ago. That's what you guys are turning into. Crappy Detroit teams. But, and hey, I got respect for Dallas, even though, last year, this season, we had to beat the hell out of y'all, just send a message because, I was getting sick of y'all. But anyway, no, but, and it like Pittsburgh and Dallas are teams that are franchises that hold both the NFC and the AFC down. They're staples for those conferences. And they're both being their ownership is just being weird. I just don't understand. So, I mean, the ownership needs to go.
I'm here for 0-17 Dallas Cowboys season. Give it to me in my veins. If I see them win one game, I'm going to be just beyond angry. 0-17. Blow the whole thing up. Let's start from the beginning, y'all. Let's go back to 1960. Draft Bob Lilly. Dig him up. Bring him back on the team.
Y'all should have just if this is the case, you guys may as well have gotten Johnson back, while he was trying to help you guys. You should just may as well have given him a chance, but you didn't want to. Speaking of not want to, we got to take a small break, y'all, because we have to basically give a shout out to the Huddle Sports Network. And myself and all these gentlemen here will be right back. B-Strilla, Tip, and J-Train on Friday with the fellas.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
All right, we're back, you guys. I'm here with Mr. Tipton, 33. That's Mike Tipton. B-Strilla, what up, Doe from the D Tweezy. And of course, my always faithful brother, J Train, Saints, LSU, NFL Download, and all the other shows he plugs and plays with Mac over there on Northeast Professional Sports. And thanks, Huddle Sports Network, for having me on. Guys, we got to pivot because it's the half-hour mark, and that time really goes by really fast. It's crazy because there's 32 teams and you really try to get some decent conversations in. But next thing you know, we tend to, and I do it all the time, we tend to kind of sway the conversations about our team. And next thing you know, when you got a panel of 4 people, it goes into 10 to 15 minutes, and that's a quarter of your showtime gone. So let's get into some breaking news that happened this week. Well, not so much breaking. I'm going to build up to the breaking news that just happened today. Aaron Rodgers, his pansy behind is out of Jets. And he's been talking about actually retiring, y'all. I mean, I think it's one of these situations that you're running like a dog with the tail between your legs because you got fired because you were toxic from the beginning. You got this Coach Sella fired. You got McCarthy fired in Green Bay. You're just a coach killer. And you're somewhere sniffing mushrooms when you should have been trying to be cohesive with your team at the beginning of the season. And now the Jets, for their probably 10th season in a row, is rebuilding.
Shoot, Aaron Glenn ain't gonna have that. He said, "You ain't getting me fired, bro. You gotta get the hell home. Bye.
Right.
See ya. Gotta go."
Right. They should have done that before Steeler left. J Train, what were your thoughts?
Let's not get it twisted. This is the first ballot Hall of Famer that we're talking about here. He just on the other side is just a pure diva. I mean, not just a diva. He got all kind of stuff going on. I haven't seen Enigma yet. I want to see it, but I just understand it just gives you a clear cut understanding of what he's cut from. And man, I mean, he's always talked about retiring at the end. I think he's finagling. I think he's malingering, wanting to get his way so that he can play another time, and he don't want anybody stepping in his shadow, or he wants to keep the limelight. But to some degree, you can see that the talent is waning with age, and teams weren't really willing to tolerate that. They want you at your best. If you're winning, the other stuff they tolerate. If you're not winning and your talent is waning, you got to go. You got to go, and that's just what happened. Like you said, Strilla with Aaron Glenn, he came in and he's trying. This is first of all, this is his job on the line. He's starting. He's coming in, and no disrespect, he's coming in as a black coach. No one, not many of those in the league, and he's coming in with a game plan. I don't know if they're going to win or not, but he don't want it to be started with someone who's wishy-washy and who's losing their talent.
I mean, you knew where Aaron Rodgers' priorities were whenever the Jets were like, here's a way that we can bring you back, right? Stop doing the shows on like with Pat McAfee. Be here for OTA.
He lives on there. He lives on Pat.
But like he chose that, and it comes out through Diana Rossini later that there was still a pathway where Aaron Glenn was going to say, even if Aaron Rodgers said yes to the Jets' demands, Aaron Glenn was going to be like, I was messing with you, my guy. We're still moving on, right?
Yep.
Like, and it's just like it's crazy because like you can tell he's a super talented dude, right? Obviously, I don't think he's washed, but I feel like we're not going to see him play again, right? Like, what team is going to go out there and bet on Aaron Rodgers? And for me, it's cool because I was like, I want to do ayahuasca with Aaron Rodgers one day. So now it's sped up my timeline, and we can have ourselves some fun.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron, I always talk about personal crossing over to professional. Your off-field behavior has gotten into your head. You clearly think you are. My whole thing is he wants to be Tom Brady, y'all. Let's be clear. He changed his number to 12. He wants to be Tom so bad. He went to New York. He wanted Devontae Adams. Finally got him. He got Lazard. He just, you wanted to literally make the Jets into what Tampa Bay was, and it just wasn't there. Like, I'm not saying the talent wasn't there. It's just your mentality. You went all about it wrong. Nobody ever said Tom Brady was a pansy. Tom was calm. He took a pay cut to make sure that people got paid and that they stayed under their cap so they could bring in talent. Meanwhile, Aaron, you've done nothing sacrificial. The only thing you've done is had a public breakup with Danica Patrick, and now I see why. And now here you are, you lay on Pat McAfee like you're his jock straps. I mean, you're like every time I turn around, he's on there. And
that's
I'm like,
because Pat
what is
McAfee be like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and I hope that if he retires, do not put him on as an announcer. We don't want to hear it.
I don't think that would happen at all. Like
he'd be on mushrooms. Isn't that against regulations?
Yeah,
no, I changed my mind. It might be fun. It might be fun now. Like, let's do it. Put him on the Amazon podcast.
Just like he lied about, when the NFL had their mandates about the needle, and he lied about that, and then comes out, oh, I'm taking preventive measures. Sir, you freaking lied. You had NBA players and everywhere living in a bubble, having to do the same thing. Athletes that were being paid, you were being paid to do this, and you lied about it. So right there, that should let you know what type of person he is. Because my great grandma always told me, and my grandma, if you lie, you'll steal. If you steal, you'll kill. And so, I mean, he's killed the team. He's killed some coaches. And so there's that. And so, yeah, let's just move on away from him. He makes me nauseated.
I just got one more point, and I know people are going to be looking at me crazy when I say this. I really think, me, in my opinion, because he's been in our division for a while, and I'm not trying to be a hater, okay, because I've seen some pretty good quarterbacks in our division over the last 10 years, all right? But I think Aaron Rodgers is overrated to me. I think that he was on a good Green Bay team. Look, he had weapons on Green Bay. He had an offensive line. Stafford, which was playing for us, had no offensive line, no running game, and he still managed to get games in there. I think Stafford's a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. I don't care what anybody says.
No way. No. I got to stop that one.
Now we are going to have to
Strilla. I got to give you the word that rhymes with Strilla. It's got to be Trilla, but you got to be real.
Let me ask you, what did he do with the Jets? He got everybody he wanted on that team. What did they do?
We're talking about I'm not saying now. I'm talking about when he was in your division. He was a killer. You can't say you sound like a little. You got a little bit.
No. Hold on, guys. Just give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute, guys. Let me just put this out here, guys. We're gonna go a little bit past 10 o'clock. All right, y'all resume.
There's no way. I would say right now that I would say right now Matthew Stafford benefits from having good coaching too, offensively. So you don't think Sean McVay is a good coach? No, you think that?
Oh, I thought you meant when he was in Detroit.
No. Because I'm kind of trying to convey, or contrast to his argument about the Jets. I would say who was a really good offensive coach there when he was there? There was nobody.
He's
nothing.
Aaron Rodgers. The dude won MVP twice. There should be no reason he's an offensive 4 times.
4 times.
Well, twice in the last 10 years. What I'm saying, though, is he don't need an offensive coordinator. That's like Tom Brady. Tom Brady does not need an offensive coordinator. He don't. He knows the game.
McDaniel was a big instrument in his game for sure. They lost a couple. They brought him back for a reason in their championship runs. But I would say that Aaron Rodgers, hands down,
to a point. But then Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay and won another Super Bowl. What did Aaron Rodgers do when he went to the Jets? Nothing. What did Stafford do when he went to a decent team in the Rams? He won a Super Bowl. I'm just telling you, teams make a difference in the setup they are. Aaron Rodgers has been the benefit of having very good offense and defense on Green Bay for all those years and playing in a crappy division. Let's face it, Minnesota, Detroit, and Chicago were not good teams in that division during that time.
Well, hold on. Besides Devontae Adams, who can you really name was like a big time weapon for Aaron Rodgers there? That was, besides Vasante Shenko, or some of the tight end. What's the guy's name? He went to Minnesota. Jennings. Jennings was decent. Donald Driver was decent. These guys were not. They were okay. He made them better. He made them better.
Great offensive line.
Aaron Glenn.
Matthew Stafford had Calvin Johnson.
Aaron Glenn.
He did not have an offensive line or a running game.
Aaron, to the meaning of it, Aaron Glenn's first order of business was going to be to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to tell you why. In 2008, and J-Train, you probably know this, his Saints clobbered Rodgers and the Packers 51-29. He never forgot that. In Rodgers' last game as a Packer, Aaron Glenn's Detroit defense gave him fit as he was defeated 20-16 at Lambeau, knocking the Pack from playoff contentions. Aaron Glenn's first act, based on his experience with those other two incidents, was to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. And now you have a toxic Rodgers who has gotten bigger than himself. So he already lost back then. And now he's a pansy. He's a diva. He's a coach killer. No one wants you, sir.
So I'll agree that I think Aaron Rodgers is a little overrated in the fact that everyone's like, he's the greatest quarterback of all time, or like one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
I don't think that.
And for me, you would not take Aaron Rodgers top 3 in his era, right? Like, you're not taking him over Brady. You're not taking him over Manning, Peyton, not Eli.
Not even Mahomes.
Yeah, you're not taking him over Mahomes, right? And then you can say, okay, now we're going to split hairs between Roethlisberger, between Rivers, between et cetera, like all these other quarterbacks, right? Is he super talented? I think we can all say that. Like, yeah, he's super talented. But he's also, we've seen him quit on teams. Like he was talking about Green Bay as though they were a scrub team after making it to back-to-back NFC championship games, right? They don't have enough talent to win a Super Bowl here, but you got to the NFC championship game. Please tell me, back-to-back, please tell me how that's not enough talent around you. He's that dude. We all have that one friend that never takes accountability for the stuff they do. That's who Aaron Rodgers is, and that's why I feel like he won't be in the NFL next season.
Yeah, who would he go to? Who would take him?
Minnesota.
I hear you tipping on that, but man, I'm putting him in the top 3. I'm definitely in their prime. Because again, I just look when you talk about Peyton Manning, I watched Peyton Manning. I'm an SEC guy too, so I watched him at Tennessee. The biggest knock on Peyton early in his career was that he couldn't get to the big game. He couldn't win. I mean, he didn't do nothing at Tennessee. I mean, he was a great regular season guy, but didn't do it in the big game. He got to Indianapolis, had super talented offense. They had a okay defense, but don't get me wrong, their offense, man, they were lighting it up. But Michael Jordan was in his way, in Tom Brady. So I'm not. When you finally load him up with a whole bunch of weapons, I mean, you got players on his team that are Hall of Famers. That's what I'm saying. I mean, running back, Hall of Famer, Edgerrin James. You got Marvin Harrison, Hall of Famer. When you talk about Tom Brady, his best statistical year came with Randy Moss. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Those guys I'm naming. When you talk about Aaron Rodgers, he's in Green Bay. I don't know what they were doing as far as not getting him talent around him, but that you can't compare. You can't compare the weapons. You can't compare the weapons that those other guys had compared to what he had.
But that was also the team that was also undefeated and lost to the Giants. Remember that with Randy Moss.
But we're talking about a defensive line that just beat the same thing that the Eagles just did to Kansas City. You got a defense, I agree with that, but we're talking about the game here. A total difference in defensive line play with the Giants. Because I mean, Eli Manning was. Let's just not kid ourselves. He got hot at the right time. Strike the iron. You know, whatever that phrase is. He got hot but when he's cold, he is cold. The defensive line is what won that game and shut that team down. Not anything else.
So I'm glad J-Train that you went that way, saying that Aaron Rodgers, you would take him third, right? Like he would be your third all-time guy. That means you're going to take Aaron Rodgers over Drew Brees?
I'm talking about in that mix. I probably would. Because let me tell you. Because Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, as many touchdowns he's thrown a lot of interceptions as well. Just look at the stats. One of the most accurate quarterbacks in the history of the game is Aaron Rodgers. You cannot argue that. The facts are there. Lay them out. You can go Google it or whatever you want to do. He is one of the best. Is he nuts? I mean, does he have a lot of things going on outside? Yes. But we're talking about the game. We're talking about the game.
You also got to look at it like this. This is how I look at it. I knew Aaron Rodgers. This is what I'm talking about being over. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback by any means. He's obviously a Hall of Fame quarterback. I'll give him that. What I mean overrated is like the fact that you came in, you played San Francisco in your dome, in your house, with your elements, and you couldn't beat San Francisco, who's from the West Coast, who don't deal with snow, against Jimmy Garoppolo. Give me a break.
Jimmy G.
And what won it for them was a special teams play. You got outplayed by Jimmy G. That's basically what happened. And you won the MVP that year. That's what I'm talking about, Aaron Rodgers. You went down the first play, the first drive Green Bay had in that game, went all the way down the field and scored. Just like that. After that, it was lights out. It was like, where did Aaron Rodgers go? Aaron Rodgers didn't make an attempt in that game to win that game. He did not. He sucked. The rest of everybody was playing well. He was the one that doing his job.
And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with that NFC Championship game, right? Like he's there, he's got a wide open lane 5 yards out that he can just walk into the end zone. And what does he do? He just chucks it like to nobody. He had a lane. Run the ball, man. How many times have we seen Tom Brady, whose 40 is at least 14 seconds? How many times have we seen him at least scamper a little bit, running like he's in molasses in slow motion, and at least get those yards, right? Aaron Rodgers, we can all say, much more athletic than Tom Brady is. But he
hello to Dennis from the trailer park. What's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well over in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I know you're cold. Had to just plug him in. Y'all check him out. He's got Tailgate Crazy. And it's literally the NFL's the whole trailer park get up. It's a mantra. So you guys follow him. Thanks for checking in, Dennis. Yeah, Tip. I mean, I absolutely agree with that. But present day Aaron Rodgers, like we all can go back 5 years, 10 years. We can go back to the second, third year that he was in the league and find these tidbits of, okay, he's a formidable quarterback. Let's just be honest. We all get old. Over time, we're all going to be different. Whatever position we're in. Let me tell you something. You can shake your head. It doesn't matter what we look like on the outside. This is what one of my elders at church told our Bible study class, and I never forgot it. It made me literally look at things differently. You can fix up, exercise, drink gallons of water, and look amazing on the outside. On the inside, you are still dying. Your organs are only meant to be here for so long, no matter what. So with that being said, even though we want to be at our optimum performance at all times, myself included, of course, I just turned 50. I want to be 25 forever. The time is going to keep ticking. And the same thing is happening in the NFL, and more so with these athletes that are taking hits, 300-400 pounds of guys landing on them several times a game. It's like a 18-wheeler hitting them over and over and over again in every aspect of their body. And at some point, no shot, no pill, no athletic trainer is going to be able to undo, even surgery, the pounding that they've taken, and their performance is going to suffer. And we've already seen Aaron Rodgers come out there with those grandfather ankles and snap, crackle, and pop last season on the first possession of the game when he signed up with the Jets.
I also think that's
stop going to his dark place. He wouldn't have them damn problems.
Well,
you never know, man. All you got to do is dig a hole, hang out there in the hole, just nice and dark, lose your mind a little bit, do a little ayahuasca. It could make you feel, you know what? The drugs probably help the ankles and joints feel better. So this is the only way he's going to get on the field, right? But like I agree with you. I think Aaron Rodgers is aging like a loaf of bread, right? Like
that's quick. You only get a week on some bread before it starts getting old.
So the way I normally say it is you're aging like a gallon of milk in Texas. I'm from Texas. I know how milk ages down here.
And it's hot out there.
Yeah. That's what Aaron Rodgers is.
Milk that's outside. All right, y'all. And see what I'm talking about? We started talking about Aaron Rodgers at 9:31. It is 9:50. This is exactly why I said we're probably going to go past the 10 o'clock hour. Pete Fanford says, what's up to you two, Dennis Cockerham? Y'all, today, Ryan Mozart was let go of by the Dolphins. 3 seasons with the Miami Dolphins. Mozart. I'm saying Mozart. You can tell what my mind say about the music. They're like, what? Ooh, Mozart. He's a composer.
We got you. We got you.
Mostert. Raheem Mostert is, after 3 seasons, being released from the Dolphins. Did you guys know that? And if so, were you surprised?
I don't think you can be surprised because A-Chain proved last year that he's the guy, right? Like it's that simple. And like Mostert, you saw, what was it, 2 years ago, leads the NFL in touchdowns. This year can't even find the end zone. And that's how quick it goes for running backs in the NFL, unfortunately. A-Chain, I think he's more dynamic, and that's going to help out Miami. You're doing what you can to save money, maybe get some free agents help out your offensive line. That's what Miami needs.
Yeah,
they got another dynamic running back there too. That's a rookie. So I mean,
running back shelf life is not long at all. Buffalo Bills star Tommy Doyle is forced to retire medically today at the age of 26 from the Bills.
Did it say what medically it was, or just didn't?
Sometimes, I mean, we see that he was 5th round pick in 2021. Only managed to play 12 games in here, and he suffered a severe leg injury during preseason in 2023. And he also tore his ACL in 2022. So he's already got these type of injuries. They said his leg injury this last time has permanent nerve damage. And as a result,
that'll do it.
Having to remove himself. And it's just really sad because he, like we said, not only is the clock ticking against you, but you're taking these hits. You're taking these pounds. I mean, I always say when I see people get tackled, I would be claustrophobic at some point to know that everybody's not getting up off of me fast enough. Like I can't breathe. I mean, I don't know if you guys played as kids, like wrestling people and stuff. The worst thing, because I was a tomboy, the worst thing would be like if my brother got me down and I felt like I couldn't breathe or I was restricted. It felt like it was 10 times worse because I couldn't take a deep breath. So imagine 10 people being on you at one time, even 2 people, and they're not getting up off of you in fast enough for you. You're freaking panicking down there. You're stressing out. And so the body is in turn going to react to all of that. But we wish him the best. We definitely hope he's able to have some type of formative life and recover, to the best of his ability. They always talk about these millions of dollars that players get, but there's no money compensation when you don't have your health. Your health is absolutely your wealth. And hello, Steve-O. Thanks for coming on. Rogers did get the whole fired. We don't even want to go back into him. We gave him 20 minutes that he should not have gotten of our whole life. I want to talk about something that you might be interested in knowing about, B-Strilla. Your former quarterback, the gunslinger, Matt Stafford, the rumors are swirling that he may be traded. Did you know that?
Yeah, to the Giants at one point too.
Yeah, well, they're saying today, he's due $4 million roughly. So somebody's got to eat that cap space up because it was guaranteed this year. And there's currently no guarantees for him to remain with the team through 2026. So I know, the Giants have been really needing somebody, but also Pittsburgh is the number one place that they're talking about he may end up. Despite them already having Fields and Wilson, we kind of know neither one of them may come back to that organization. Vikings is the second trade package because they're not sold on Sam Darnold after his arsenal of looking like he was Carolina's again with all those interceptions. And then the Giants are the third option with them basically giving up some second round picks in the draft. I mean, I don't know. Do you think that the Giants would be a good fit for Matt Stafford?
Nope.
Where do you think?
I'm going to say, like, can you imagine you go from Detroit? You go from Detroit, like what that was, and then you get like the holy grail of you're in LA, you're always competing, and then you get shipped off to the Giants. I'm retiring. I'm done. Like I ain't doing that.
I mean, he's got his ring. Let's be clear. He went out there to the Rams, got his ring. Or you watched 2 press conferences. I don't know what that's. Oh, yeah, I guess he's talking about Rodgers again. I mean, where will he go? Or like you said, is he done, J-Train? Do you think he's done?
I mean, what is he, 36? About to be 37 or something like that?
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere for me.
I mean, he took a beating, man, most of his career, and he's a warrior. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Matthew Stafford. He's a warrior. I remember the game that when he was in Detroit, and his arm got his shoulder, and he came back into the game to throw a touchdown and left. Won that game. Incredible, man. Yeah. You don't want to do that again. He's too old to do that now, and I think that would happen with that like leaky offensive line. there that they have, and not really much talent besides Malik Neighbors there. So they really need to focus on drafting a quarterback. The Giants, and if I'm I don't know. I don't understand what the issue is here. Maybe he wants more money. Because right now you have him at 4 million. If that's the case, if that's true, I mean, you can run it back one more year with him. I mean, I don't know what would he get? What would the Rams get for him? I mean, maybe second round or third.
Second round picks for him, but right now it looks like the bullets are out of the gun. He's no longer the gunslinger. He's the gun keeper because he just keeps it up in a cabinet somewhere with the bullets and ammunition in a separate area. I mean,
I don't know about that. You didn't see him last year. Last year he was throwing that ball. He's still the gunslinger. He's still up there. I just don't think that. I think the team that he would go to, and I would hate it if he did,
Minnesota.
Is Minnesota because they have an offensive line. They have one of the best receivers in the league. They got and the secondary good, and they got Hawkinson. They got a pretty good offensive line. Their defense ain't too bad. You got an offensive quarterback guru there. That's a coach. So I mean, that would be his best fit. Because I wouldn't trust him to Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh doesn't have all the weapons and their offensive line has been banged up and they can't protect anybody either, which was much of the reason why Russ Wilson went into that tailspin the last 5 games he had when he started off 6-1 when Tomlin put him in there to start. Yeah, those last 5 games he was getting racked. So I wouldn't put Stafford in that environment.
I think if you're the Rams, you got to do right by him, right? Like he won you a Super Bowl. He's been a warrior. Send him to a contender. Don't send him to Vegas. Don't send him to the Giants. Send him somewhere where he can actually thrive a little bit because maybe this is the Rams saying we're throwing in the towel, right? Like I don't see why you would move on from Matthew Stafford. It's not much of a cap hit. He got you all to the playoffs. And that NFC West doesn't seem like it's going to be that great next year anyway. Like you can run this back and maybe make some noise in the playoffs. I just don't get it.
And who are they going to go with as a quarterback? Jimmy G? Stetson? Come on.
Porn star Jimmy. He's too busy on the offseason doing other stuff. I mean, it's interesting that you guys talk about the AFC and the West and all that because it seems like there was a lot of teams. There was a lot of teams that were finishing at the bottom of the division. Thank you, the bottom of the league. Thank you, everybody that finished in the last 15 because you made the Panthers look good this year. We didn't have to hear a lot of the, you guys are this, that. In fact, we heard the opposite. Even though we were still losing, people were praising us like, y'all almost beat every year. Every week it was like, you almost beat.
They almost beat Kansas City. They were very good this year.
Let me tell you, when we almost beat Kansas City, I knew then, and Jay Train will tell you, I said it on our show, the Big Football Show. I said, people are banking on Kansas City going to the Super Bowl. I said, I don't even think they go. I said, if they go, they don't belong there because look how the Panthers almost beat them. This is not a Super Bowl contender team. So shout out to me, pat on my back, and hugs.
I will say this, like about the Panthers, right? And it's going to go back to one of my favorite movies. The sun shines on a dog's rear end every now and then. I didn't say the word after it.
Oh wow!
And that's what happened right there, right? Like the sun was shining on that dog's rear end that day.
Well, I guess this. I guess Dallas plays at night because you guys never got a sun showing on y'all's rear end. Okay. Don't go for me, Tip, because I stay ready. Okay. I stay ready.
Talking about bullets in the chamber.
Woo! The guns are loaded already.
Jay Craig will let y'all know. I am that. Yes, I've been that way since I was young. I just come off the rip, wicked and snap. All right, I want to talk about AFC, you guys. Let me make sure we got this comment coming in here real quick. Who is this? Pink Fan First said, "Don't sleep on Bryce." That's right. Bryce up, son. As in ice up, son. Steve
that benching did him good. I think that was a very good call by the coach.
And we coming in hard next year. So I hope y'all know it. You have been forewarned. Feel free to take a snap of this particular clip of the show and roll tide. That's right, Pink. So listen, I want to talk about the AFC and Deshaun Watson. I mean, we're going to stay with AFC for just a little bit because there's another team that I want to kind of get you all's opinion on. Do the Browns move on from Deshaun Watson? And if so, are they picking a quarterback in the draft or just what's happening? And before you guys answer, and goodbye to some of our audience members. It's the top of the hour, and I know some of you all may drop off on different networks. We appreciate you. This will re-air at 2 a.m. in its entirety, should you be up. And it will re-air tomorrow on the Huddle Sports Network at 10 a.m. I forgot yesterday and told y'all it was going to be on at 10 yesterday. And I think I over-programmed somebody's show because I forgot what day of the week it was. It was supposed to have aired at 8 o'clock at night. So sorry, Huddle Sports Network. But yeah, Deshaun Watson and company. I mean, is Deshaun done in the league?
Not in the league, but he's done it. He's done in Cleveland.
No, he's done in the league. Like he's done. He's Aaron Rodgers level done. Like he's done. Like I don't see a team that's going to go out there willing to sign him, because you can get a younger quarterback in the draft. You can look at like the free agents that are out there. Do you take Deshaun Watson and all that comes with that? And it's unfortunate because I'm all about a good comeback story, right? Like I'm all about giving that person the second chance. We saw what he did with his second chance in Cleveland, and it just didn't deliver. And it sucks to say it like that, but we've seen enough from him to know that he's not going to be on the field, and whenever he is on the field, he's not going to be good.
Anybody else?
I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with what was off the field. I think a lot of it was mental, because you just don't fall off from grace that far. If we go before the fall from grace, this guy was top 5 in the league. I mean, talent wise. So it's hard for me to really. I guess I'm just thinking that the talent's still there, but I think mentally, I'll give you this: if he doesn't come back mentally, then yes, he's out of the league. But if he can,
I think that's the reason why, right? Like, what was it? Basically 2 years off, and then he's been hurt all the time in Cleveland. Like, the one thing you have to have as an athlete is more confidence than everyone else. And the second you get those injuries, the second you have those voices in your head, you're not the guy that you used to be, right? Like Travis Kelce talking about, I'll think about retirement. My dude, you're done. Like you just admitted you're done. And to me, you can see it weighing on him. Like he doesn't have the smile. He doesn't have the fun that you're supposed to have out on a football field. It's just so much weight on him that I don't think it's going to be easy for him to be able to come back from.
I mean, now you got Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett requesting a trade. He's sick of being on a losing team. I mean, yeah, what were you saying, Strilla?
Come in. Come on, Miles. We'll give Cleveland Hendon Hooker. They'll have their quarterback.
Mayfield now. You doing the Baker Mayfield when they played New York when he was up there with DeVito.
Yeah, you come back this way, Garrett. Come over this way.
We're trying to get Brother Garrett in Carolina. We could use him.
Well, there are rumors that Detroit is the front runner. Detroit and Washington.
What I just saw, Buffalo and the Commanders are front runners right now.
Could you imagine?
Philadelphia is even in a mix.
Could you imagine Detroit's defensive line with Aiden Hutchinson and Myles Garrett? My God.
They need,
I can imagine.
I need them to go back for a third time, and I need to make sure they got all the weapons, because I will roll with those cats all the way down. And I'm still wanting to get me a Lions shirt, but I got to get them to the Super Bowl first to get that, and I will wear it on air. Y'all, I mean, Deshaun Watson has a $72.935 million cap charge just for this year. And beyond this year, because y'all know they stood on business and no matter what, they were gonna sign him. They didn't care if they saw him on tapes with P. Diddy or with baby oil in his hair or nothing. They were gonna sign for him regardless. This before we even knew about Diddy. They didn't care if they saw the actual footage on the Jumbotron of him doing what he did. They were gonna still stand 10 toes down for him. And I never saw a press conference like that you know that this player is coming to your team with this type of stuff, and you automatically are like, oh, you know what? We don't care what y'all say. It's literally like, and I think I said this to a couple of you guys on a previous show. It's like a girlfriend is trying to prove to her parents that the boyfriend is not a bad guy. Like the more the parents tell you that this guy is no good for you, the more you like, oh no, I'm gonna stand by him. I don't care what he beating you up, he cheating on you, he got other baby mamas. He's stealing your parents' car, he's stealing and robbing, selling your TVs and everything for crack, and you still gonna stay with him, and you see everything right there. This is exactly what's going on with the Browns. And if he stays beyond this year, y'all, it's another $99.835 million.
Cha-ching.
These
But
people
that's the
got the
thing is-
U.S. They got the Federal Reserve, and they feel printing out money right now to be paying that kind of money.
But that's the thing with that Deshaun Watson deal, right? Is no matter what happens, that's a guaranteed deal. So it's going to be on their books, even if they don't have him. For
That's
me,
ridiculous.
if you're Cleveland, I'm like, again, I'm riding it, right? Like, I paid you this money. I don't care how bad it's going to be. We're going to lose Myles Garrett. We're just going to ride you into the dirt, my boy, because it's
Because
Why
nobody's
not?
gonna pay you that money to get him. Nobody's gonna eat that money up. You're gonna pay this dude like you basically signed him up for his whole NFL career.
But it's also not that, right? Like, you have to look at what Cleveland gave up. They gave up 3 first-round draft picks, 3
Yes,
second-round draft
yes.
picks. They
And look where Houston's at now.
yeah, like it's just so much that they gave up for this dude. And like I said, like, there was a part of me that was like, all right, dude, whenever you get your chance, ball out. And we just haven't seen him be able to do it. Like, I don't, with Jameis Winston, you can see some flashes, right? With Aaron Rodgers this year, you saw some flashes. Anytime Deshaun Watson got the ball, you were like, nah, that's going to be a pick. Like, it just wasn't there. So for Cleveland, like, I get why you move on, but if you already put that money and it's going to be on your books anyway, you write it into the dirt.
It's dead cap, and basically they're saying any team that wants to get him, they would have to delay until June 1st to try to get his cap space to drop down to 26.935 million, which means the Browns are still paying him that other part, and the new team is going to pay him this 26. It's going to be a situation like how Denver did with Russell Wilson, but Denver didn't give Russell that much money. But Denver was footing the bill while Russell was in Pittsburgh. But I mean, this deal is worse than the Kirk Cousins to the Falcons, because we thought that agent finagled some money. No, Deshaun's agent definitely finagled some money, because you knew this guy had some real serious issues, and you cannot tell me that he's conveniently hurt every season. He's playing 3 and 4 snaps, 3 or 4 weeks of games, and then he's back out with his legs propped up watching TV and getting new charges and still collecting a check. And I thought the NFL a couple of seasons ago implemented this injury clause. What happened to that?
When the contract says guaranteed, the contract says guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was supposed to be performance-based, where they said, like how they did Cooper Rush. You got to
not with his contract.
It's 100. It was the only 100% guaranteed contract in the NFL.
I should have dressed up as Deshaun and went out there and collected some money, because if you could just dress up and go out there one time and take, the obscenities from the crowd, and then just go on back and be my regular self, we'd be on network TV right now, y'all. I'd already have us a station. This show would be on NBC right now, because I would invest it. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, I'm willing to do it.
What you say, Tim?
Let's
I'm
do
willing
it.
to do it. I think I can pull it off.
Yes.
I'm all of 5'10". I think we look the same. Like, well, yeah, we're good. Let me get out there, Cleveland.
Yeah, and then let me get me, I have my friend that does my makeup, but she could, just relax and let me get in a whole glam squad to come in here and blow my hair out on set and everything, and
It'd be like, when did Deshaun Watson?
I don't know how much that's gonna take after a while. So yeah, Deshaun isn't that feminine looking. Okay,
he's shaped up like I almost it's 10 o'clock. I think everybody from my church done went to bed now. He's shaped up like a bitch. I tell you that.
But you know what? It's like my boy Robbie says, Cleveland just being Browns. That's all. That's all they were doing. Everybody was PO'd. All the owners were PO'd at Cleveland for doing that, because that set the bar for every other quarterback coming after him. And it was just ludicrous that they did that. Now, I'm not saying Deshaun isn't worth that kind of money, but not guaranteed money. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
And you just gave away all your draft picks. Everybody on that team is displeased. Garrett wants to be out of there. They already got rid of him. We got Zadarius Smith. They're losing people. And if they keep losing people, they're just going to be the New York Jets. You know what I'm saying?
It's been a bad organization for a long time.
A bad organization. I do want to talk about one other thing. This is going to be a typical interest to one of our players. What's up, boys in blue? What's up, Frat? How you doing? You are in the house. He's out there on the west side, so it's 7:10 over there on the west coast. Just a little bit further west of you, Tip. Tip is in Dallas, the Dallas, Texas area. Houston, where you at?
I am 700 miles away from Dallas and El Paso, Texas.
Oh, that's right, El Paso. Yeah, so he's down there by the border. That's why he was able to go get tequila because it's 30 minutes from his house.
That when they make the salsa.
Yeah, and then you got Strilla up in the D Tweezy, okay, right off 9 Mile Road, cousin of Eminem.
Well, not 9 Mile. I'm not that close to the city anymore. I'm way
he's
up there. He's
on another Mile Road, and then of course,
yeah,
down here in the A with me. So we bi-coastal, y'all. We bi-coastal. I do want to talk about a subject of interest for this next person. If you guys had to compare quarterbacks, and I want the person who this initiates from to remain silent. I've had a text conversation with somebody recently, and we talked about quarterbacks, and I want to know your reasoning behind it. So between these two quarterbacks, because there's a plethora of quarterbacks. If you had to choose Joe Burrow, and I know J Train, that's your guy, so I'm gonna let you go first. If you had to choose Joe Burrow or Dak Prescott, who would you choose and why? And this is inclusive of their recent performances and their injuries, including meat falling off the hamstring and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely Joe Burrow. I mean, hands down. You can look at him right now, even with that bad defense. He does not play. He doesn't play defense, but he plays excellent offense. I mean, he's. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to knock him for having a tandem of great receivers and a decent running back. But I mean, an average. I think a bit of an average O line has probably gotten him hurt a couple of times. But yeah, definitely. But Joe Burrow is one of the most accurate quarterbacks, and he knows when to take off and run. And I think he's just that dude. I mean, Dak Prescott is great. He's great, but Joe Burrow is nearing, I think, legendary status. Regardless of, again, their defense, he's what really they wouldn't win the games that they had if it wasn't for him. I mean, because there's nothing on that defense. They've lost close games. I mean, they lost to Baltimore in a very close overtime game early in the season. But the reason that they were in the game is because of Joe Burrow. And I just think that if he gets a better offensive line, they get a few pieces on defense, watch out. I mean, I think they're going to give whoever in the AFC a run for their money to get them back to the Super Bowl again.
And before we go to the next person, thank you everybody for the viewing. I can tell everybody's in for their Valentine's dinner now because all the viewing is going up. I hope you all had a great Valentine's night with your significant other or your children or your mom or whoever, your girlfriends. They got this thing called Galentine's now. I mean, I don't know about that, but I was talking to my last check yesterday. She said it sounded like a bunch of bitter women. I'm like, okay, thanks for telling me that because don't invite me to no Galentine stuff, honey. I'm not bitter with men. I'll hang out with you, but don't make it a male bashing thing because I'm not the one you want to bring over there. I'm a tomboy in my mind, and I think too much like guys. And I've had like solid arguments with other women over child support and stuff like that. So people that know me know don't even invite me to that if we're doing male bashing because I still love males. Okay, so anywho, Boys in Blue says he's a Dallas fan and he would still choose Joe. So let's let Mike go next. And then Strilla, I know you got some good points for me. I can't wait to get to it. Let's let Strilla go. I'm interested to see what he thinks because I saw his head roll back. I thought he was falling out of the chair for a moment when I brought up this topic. Tip, what are your thoughts on that?
All right, so I want to give a shout out to my dude, Tommy Cadanza, TC915 over on YouTube. I see you tuned in. What's good, my dude? All right, so the question that was brought up to me was, would you take Joe Burrow over Dak Prescott? Like, would I take Joe Burrow on the Dallas Cowboys right now? And the reason why I said no is because I believe it's a lateral move, right? Joe Burrow on the Dallas Cowboys does not make them a playoff team, right? Dak Prescott on the Cincinnati Bengals does not make them a playoff team. I just like the way the Dallas Cowboys are constructed right now. That's not a good team. That's not a team anybody is going to be able to succeed with. And for me, it's the devil you know other than the devil you don't know, right? Whenever you look at their best seasons, Dak Prescott's best season, 4,900 yards, 39 touchdowns, right? Then you look at Joe Burrow's best season, 4,915 yards and 46 touchdowns. So he's got the edge in touchdowns. It's almost a mirror thing here that we're looking at. So for me, like if we're talking about careers, right? Like if we say career arc, then yes, I'll take Joe Burrow. But if we're talking about the right now, which is what the question was, Joe Burrow doesn't make the Dallas Cowboys a better team.
Okay. And shout out to you, Yoli. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Thanks for joining us. She's a Green Bay Packers fan. I told y'all we national. People be coming on. We done had Dennis from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We appreciate all the views. And then Blue talks about that he just came in. He did come in from dinner with his wife. I saw Tasha. There's someplace called paleontology or something. I don't know. Just now somebody said not this again. Tip. Who was that said that?
That's my guy, Tommy Carranza. So yesterday we spent a full hour on this conversation, and I had
y'all know where I got it from. Y'all know where I got it from.
I had to defend myself because the question comes up: would you take Dak on, or would you take Burrow over Dak right now? And to me, like the Dallas Cowboys, again, I want them to lose, so I'm taking Dak. Like that's my mindset right now. I 0-17 is the way it's going to be. 0-17, baby. Let's do it. The first 0-17. If you're going to lose historic. Dallas Cowboys, do what I'm asking of you, please. For the love of God, the first time in my life, I'm asking you to do something.
But we want them to win, though. Right, Strilla? I mean, who we're talking about a comparison. You're talking about getting this team, these two quarterbacks for selfish purposes, just so you guys can take it and get you a new quarterback, right?
So this will be the last thing I say on it, right? Like, to me, we're talking about like if they just change positions, right? Okay. Look at the offensive weapons that Joe Burrow has compared to what the Dallas Cowboys have right now, right? We can say Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb, they might wash each other out. Then you got T. Higgins, and like everything that Cincinnati has offensively, even down to the line, is so much better than what Dallas has. So much better than what Dallas has.
Running backs wash out.
Yeah, the running back is definitely.
There's no way.
You don't have a running back.
A quarterback. And Boys in Blue is a Cowboys fan as well. And he said he's still going to take Joe. And he said the question is about the quarterback, not your overall team.
Well, that factors into be having the quarterback on the team, though. Look, for instance, let me make my point about this. Now, I understand where Tip's coming from because he doesn't want his team to succeed so he can blow it up and down. Now that I understand that point because I was looking at him like, But if you want your team to succeed, okay, you do have the pieces there. You do have a decent offensive line, way better than what Cincinnati has right now. And you got to remember something. Joe Burrow went to a Super Bowl with that offensive line looking trash. He got sacked like a league lead, and he still got to the Super Bowl. That dude is a quarterback. And I'm telling you right now, if he had you gave him that line, and yeah, you're right. CD and Chase kind of cancel each other out, but they still have got weapons on that team. I don't think it's the purpose that Dallas. I think Dak is just kind of. I think Dak is a great quarterback in his own right too. But I think that just the mentality in that team right now is just crap. It's like, they're talking about trying to shift Micah Parsons out of there. I'm like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing?
Jerry Jones is on a whole level of cocaine that Aaron Rodgers doesn't even do.
No, it's not. Like, it's not cocaine. It's comfort medicine. It's comfort measures he's taking. Like for his dementia and stuff, it's end of life sustaining type stuff.
It ain't working.
The thing is, he's been on it for so many years. He started taking it in his 40s. That now is doing the opposite. But Jerry has come out and said he don't care what nobody says. He bought this team because he wants to be involved with the team. And with that being said, he's not turning it over. Why y'all think he was fighting that lady that came out with that daughter from 1980 that he done had, and she's trying to get some claim to what he's got? What? What is it?
Give it up. This is like old people. Sometimes we're gonna get to that point in one part in our life too. Where we're just not gonna be able to give it up. We're not gonna give it up,
right?
And I think that's where Jerry is at this point of his life. He's at 80 something years old now. What is he? 90, 80, something like that.
Yeah,
dude.
Jerry Jones, like
You
80.
you got sons, you got nieces and nephews that can run that team better than you right now. Come on, man. Just let it go. Let it go.
I hate that I've grown into this position of me being the guy that defends Jerry Jones. Like, I don't know what went wrong in my life. I've got to go to church. Like, I've got to figure out what's happening. But Jerry Jones, like, the reason why he's not going to give it up, right? Like, he's a stubborn old man. All of us know a stubborn old man. Jerry Jones's way won him 3 Super Bowls. And he's going to be that dude that's like, I did this. I don't care how long ago it was. I did this. I was successful at it. I can win my way. And what his mindset is now, the entire team needs to build like be the same mindset as me. And if they're not, we're going to lose, right? That's Jerry Jones' mindset because he's a stubborn, old octogenarian. It's time for him to go. But you know what? No one can force him out because he's the most powerful owner in the NFL with the most valuable franchise. And as long as that team actually makes money for him somehow, some way, the Dallas will always be in the conversation. The Dallas Cowboys will always be the topic that runs Sports Center and sports radio. And it's just what Jerry wants. Keep talking about us, even though we can be terrible.
And we have a fan that Prescott has been out, so he hasn't been able to run up any stats this particular season. Yeah, J Train, you were saying something about that?
I was just saying, Tip makes Jerry Jones sound like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons.
Yeah,
right.
He did. He
so
does.
That nuclear power plant blows up.
Well, I mean, I hate to tell you though, Tip. You were kind of outruled on this one. Let's pivot, guys. We're gonna stay on probably about 8 more minutes. Let's wrap it up around 10:30. I don't want anybody to get tired. I don't want to be like some people that you come on Facebook or whatever, and they're on live, and you go to bed and wake up and they're still on live. You're like, what in the heck? Like, I know people that run 3 and 4 hour lives every time.
I feel like you're talking about me now.
You run
2 hours is about 2 hours is about what I got in me.
Okay, well, listen, J Trainer, you got 2 hours. Y'all want to go up to 11?
I can't do 11.
J Train got to get up tomorrow, and he's been traveling this week too. Tip, you and Strilla got 30 more minutes in y'all.
I mean, I'm good.
I already said I'm good for 2 hours.
J Train, you
I don't have to do anything.
More minutes. It's already.
I don't know what J Train does. I don't know what J Train does, but he does look tired. He does look tired.
And are you doing a show tomorrow with Mac in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and
I mean, J Train's probably got some plans happening right now. He's been like, this thing should have been done 23 minutes ago. That's a good thing. Like he's
called
tonight.
Count sheep, brother. Count sheep. That's about it.
Somebody said it's past your bedtime too, Tip. J Train, we're going to, because it is 10:23. We're going to thank you for coming on tonight and bid you a good night, because I do know you have that 8 o'clock show, which I will not even be awake to watch it. But I will see you on Sunday morning, brother, when you guys join us for the Sunday morning big show. J Train, good night. Thank you, brother. See you soon.
See you soon,
man.
All right, guys. All right, guys. So that is J Train. Hold on, y'all. I don't want to. Okay, he left. I didn't want to kick him out, because when you kick him out, you don't know if he'll be able to come back for the next time. So, all right, guys. So we are on, and I knew Strilla was, because actually both of you guys, like, once we wrap up, it's like we'll just be still talking about stuff. Like, we should just kept everything rolling. All right, let's talk about a little ACC. Woo, NBA news. This week we saw a lot of changes with Jimmy Buckets, and I caught a little bit of his playing last night. He went on, I think it was a 33-19 run with Steph Curry last night. Did the Warriors end up pulling that victory out? He's now Steph's number 2. I wonder how that's going to work out with Draymond Green down there. But Jimmy Buckets making a big, solid debut for the Warriors. Let's see.
105-98, they won.
They won, and he played 35 minutes, had 19 points, and had 6 out of 15 field goals, with 8 rebounds and 4 assists. So not too shabby, considering he's played 35 minutes in the previous game, which was February 12th. They played back-to-back games in Dallas and in Houston. And he seems to be, making a difference, considering from the end of January all the way up to February 5th, he hadn't played at all because he was not playing for Miami. So he seems to have hit the ground running with the Warriors, making his debut on February 8th with 29 points. Is Jimmy Butler the missing puzzle for the Warriors? You know, they have not been the same since Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole, the Splash Brothers, all that big breakup. Are you guys thinking that, you know, Jimmy would be good, or do you think at some point him and Draymond may clash?
I think eventually they're going to clash, right? Like it's in both of their background. It's we can't be happy with what we have around us, right? Look at every team that Jimmy Butler's been with. He's had an ugly, ugly divorce. I think they're in the honeymoon period right now. He's happy. He's with his new girl. Everything looks fine and dandy. Eventually, that's going to wear thin. And it'll probably wear thin because even though Golden State's all right, they are not a championship contending team.
Yeah, and right now Draymond is praising him, saying he's a franchise changer. And so we'll have to see just how that actually lasts. You know, like you said, it's the honeymoon phase. It's, you know, we got a new girlfriend, got a new boyfriend, everything is hunky-dory, and it's better than what we just left. So it's kind of like the Aaron Rodgers syndrome. Everything is good when he first gets to the Jets, and now the Green Bay Packers fans are peeling the Band-Aids off, telling everything about him from when he was in the NFC North. AD leaves LeBron. I call him Burton Ernie because he was always at all of LeBron's press conferences with that unibrow and those sunglasses. And, you know, now they have picked up Luka Doncic, another big name. Are the Lakers for real a contender to go to the championship? What do you guys think?
No.
Yeah. I mean, is that coming from a place of just, I hate the Lakers, or is the legit no?
Well, I hate the Lakers too, but that has nothing to do with it. I think, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. I'm old school, and I come from the 90s basketball. And I also come from, you know, everybody has these debates on Facebook all the time or whatever social media platform it is about MJ being better than LeBron. And I agree wholeheartedly with MJ is better than LeBron wholeheartedly. LeBron may pass him in points, but that's what happens when you play for 500 years. So you're going to pass somebody with points. Come on. I mean, that's just like Frank Gore when he played in the NFL. He passed Barry Sanders in yards. But you played for 40 years.
Yeah.
You played for a whole bunch of years. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's the same thing. And LeBron is kind of like an Aaron Rodgers in a lesser degree because he's a coach killer. He's a team killer. I think that they haven't won really too much. And the only time they won was when they were in the bubble. I don't count that game.
Yeah.
I don't count those championships. And they did win. I think they win one not too recent, like 2 years ago with him.
Yeah, that's the little default championship. And Tip, once you get your screen situated, because I think you're trying to play a clip, we'll bring you back up. Boys in Blue said he's a Lakers fan and he doesn't even think they're going to win. And Robbie says LeBron is not even better than Kobe. Yeah, I am not a LeBron fan at all. He sickens me. He's self-absorbed. I mean, yeah, he does really good stuff off the field for the community and whatnot. But I just feel like, you know, I'm sick of the talks of who's better and what have you and all that stuff. Now, I don't know if we lost Tip completely or what. We saw him trying to do something, but he's clearly gone. Tip, if you had to leave, you should have just told us.
He'll be back. He'll be back. It's probably just some kind of thing.
Yeah, and technical difficulties. It's happened to me, and I'm the host before. Like, I don't know what's going on with technology, but we all
been there.
It does happen. Yeah. So we got March Madness, which is right around the corner. Strilla, do you have a team you follow?
You know what? I haven't really been paying too much attention to college basketball. I mean, Big Ten I usually watch. Xavier. Xavier is one of my favorite basketball schools. I like Michigan State, Michigan. I like Kentucky, North Carolina. I love those teams. So I mean,
you don't like Duke. You just like North Carolina.
I hate Duke. I hate Duke. I'm sorry.
Duke is my favorite team. Duke is my favorite team.
So sorry.
And I do not like Carolina unless they're the only Carolina team left and they're playing against someone in another jurisdiction. I will root for them. And this is just basketball. I don't really follow their football too much. But the March Madness this year is in San Antonio, April 5th through the 7th. University of Texas at San Antonio are going to be the host school. And April 4th and 6th, though, which is next year, though, so that doesn't even matter. It's going to be Indianapolis. And then you guys are getting it in Detroit in 2027. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all are getting it in 2027. And then in 2028, it'll be in Las Vegas at UNLV. And I've actually seen you in UNLV's campus.
I guarantee you all the Michigan teams are going to be vying for that tournament when it comes to Michigan.
To play at home.
Yeah.
The LBJ, to go back to the NBA while we're waiting. LeBron is a better all-around player, way better than Jordan. During the Jordan era, the league catered to
Jordan. Come on.
I don't know about
cater to Jordan.
You had the Detroit Bad Boys that were playing during definitely weren't giving anything. I was a Bad Boys fan with Dennis Rodman, Sheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, even with Isaiah Thomas. I mean, you got to think Jordan left and came back. I don't think that
and still won 3 rings after that.
And still won 3 rings after that. In true style. And so, he and Scottie Pippen got it done there in Chicago.
I just want to know how LBJ is a better all-around player, because he's built like a linebacker, and when he's coming down, I can understand that to a point, because when he's coming down a lane, you don't want to be trying to stop him from scoring. I mean, because you're going to get run over. I understand that aspect because he's a big player, but I mean, at the same time, he flops a lot. He gets don't get it twisted. MJ did have the NBA under his belt, but so does LBJ. So all these times he flops. I've seen him flop, and I'm like, dude, come on.
He's telling me this is before the Jordan era, but Isaiah Thomas played when
they put Jordan out.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
They put Jordan out for a while.
He played, and I just confirmed we did lose Tip. He said his camera is not working, but it's okay, Tip. We definitely see you again soon. And so but let me just message him real quick. Let's make sure we don't have any other breaking news before we get ready to hop off of here. Oh, okay. He's saying all around stats.
How long did Jordan play, and how long did LeBron play? That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, LeBron you're gonna years now.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna get those kind of stats if you play that long. Jordan still is the only player ever to win Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and multiple other ones 4 times in a row. No player's done that ever.
Yeah,
so you can't say that destroys that conversation anyway. But I'm not saying LeBron James. See, it's funny because I like Michael Jordan as a player. I didn't like him as a person. I thought he was an a-hole as a person. But it's opposite with LBJ. I like LBJ as a person. I don't like his basketball too much. That's the only thing. And then he's a good basketball player. I'm not saying that. He's, like I said, there's variations of how people are. I think Aaron Rodgers is a good example of that, what we were using before. LBJ is kind of like on that plateau for me. He's good. He's talented. He can dominate. But the point of the matter is he's not doing it to the effect that Michael Jordan was dominant. Even when he didn't have Scottie Pippen, he was scoring 63 points a night to help Chicago even get into the playoffs. And then he knew that he had to have some kind of a team behind him because he couldn't do all of it himself. He had to have enforcers. He had to have good shooting guards. He said, you know what? He said, look, dude, I got to have some help around me, so we can succeed, because we're never going to get past the Pistons. We're not the way we are right now. So let's get some guys in here that can deal with them. And the Pistons even said that during the end of their reign about that whole situation. Said it was time that Chicago just started not, they didn't want to get pushed over anymore, and they showed it. They started pushing us around, and that's what the Pistons were about. They were the bully on the block. And if you punch the bully in the mouth, you
gotta be able to fight. You gotta be able to rumble. That's the bad boys. I mean, they got their names off of that specific type of thing. Let's see. Before let's see. Before Pip, he never made the playoffs, is what Boys in Blue is saying. And Puppet, what? I don't know what he's saying. Yeah, so that's that. Let's go ahead and move over to the Naismith NBA Hall of Fame nominees that were just recently released. Congratulations to all of these people. Hold on, I hit the wrong button there. The 2008 for these committees, the American Committee League, 2008 U.S. Men's basketball team, Carmelo Anthony is going to be a finalist. Congratulations to him. Definitely well deserved. Danny Crawford, Billy Donovan, Mark Few as a coach. Billy and Mark are coaches.
Danny Crawford, by the way, is the referee.
Yes, referee. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah. So this is just an alphabetical order. Carmelo Anthony, of course, as a player. Crawford, referee. Donovan, coach, and Mark Few as a coach, as well as Dwight Howard, player. You guys know who he is. Marquez Johnson, is a player. Jerry Welsh as a coach, and Buck Williams as a player. Now, they also have women committee finalists as well. Jennifer Aziz, who as a player. Sue Bird, very well deserved. Congratulations to Sue. Been following her a long time. Player. Sylvia Fowles, player, and Maya Moore. And then the women's veteran committee finalists went to Molly Bolin as a player. And then your international committee finalist was Dusan Ikovic as a coach. And the contributor committee's finalists were Mickey Aurison and Tal Brody. I mean, this is the 2025 finalists for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. It's a remarkable achievement, and it's definitely these players had excellence in their career and definitely are trendsetters for the game. Wouldn't you agree, Strilla?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, as far as the U.S. basketball team is concerned, once they switched to professional athletes, they dominated that sport, which they should. There's a couple upsets there and there. We did have one bad year, I think, in the Olympics where we didn't make it. I think we got a bronze in that year or something like that. And I think that was just I think it was just bad coaching, to tell you the truth. I think it was just lack of the players being focused. The coaches not doing very well. But anyway, the whole point of the matter is as much as the men, I think the women, it's good to see the women get recognized for that too. Like you said, Sue Bird, she was dominant when she played. And I believe
Sue Bird is really a trendsetter. I think I akin to her is the new Caitlin Clark, basically. She's heading in that same trajectory. And then you got Aja Wilson, you got a whole bunch of this talent group that went into the league last year were kind of akin to the amount of quarterbacks we had in the NFL draft. It was just heavily saturated with talent. So it's going to be interesting to follow up with those ladies that went in and all those freshmen. I still like to call them freshmen because they're new to the league, to see how they stat up. But congratulations to all of those honorees, and they'll be honoring them really, really soon. It's so funny to think that we're already in February, all halfway through, in fact, with the month of February, and pretty soon, in another 6 weeks, it'll be spring, and we'll be talking about NBA finals. So the seasons wrap up pretty good, pretty fast. The NFL Combine is getting ready to kick off here, I think, the end of February. That's going to be interesting to see a lot of teams, players, scouts out there looking for new players and new talent to see who all comes into the league. Let me see, got a comment here. Pippen was his favorite player, he's saying. Let me just check real quick.
Yeah, Pippen was decent.
Pippen was decent. A lot of stuff still, happening now that the draft. I mean, they got just a lot of new people. The trade deadline has gone by, but I feel like in my mind they still be making trades way past something. And maybe I missed something, but I feel like they'll say it's a trade deadline, and the next thing you know, this player is gone. Am I correct?
Well, it's a trade. The trade deadline for this season is gone.
I got you.
So after the Super Bowl, the trade deadline closes. But then once the new season opens up and they do, when they open up the new season, that's when trades and everything can become a reality. And your free agency starts and your combine starts and all that. I think the new season starts in the beginning of March. I'm pretty sure it does.
Okay, yeah, for the new ones. Do want to give you guys some breaking news. Going to pivot back to the NFL. As we get ready to wrap up here, the Buffalo Bills just re-signed their key offensive chess piece to a 1-year ERFA contract, ERFA, that is. It's going to be none other than Alec Anderson. He's gotten a 1 year. This is within the last hour. He's going to be available again as their utility man, and he signed a 1-year exclusive rights. That's what free agent, ERFA, stands for. Tender earlier this week. He's going to now have 3 full seasons of service, and he's only 25 years old. And so after that, he can obtain restricted free agent status. So kudos to the Bills for getting him back. Hopefully that helps propel them to the where they need to be in the postseason. And the Steelers have released a veteran pass rusher. Everybody's trying to get that cap space down right now. And so looks like they have gotten rid of Preston Smith. It's going to free up $12 million for them in removing him in the free agency. So we're going to see a lot of players shuffled around, not just tonight while we're on, but just keep your phones up for ESPN news and what have you, because that stuff is just all around. Got any final Lions news for us, Strilla, before we get ready to hop off of here?
We did lose another coach to it was our running backs coach. Well, no, it was our quarterbacks coach, but we did gain one from the University of Alabama, where Jahmyr Gibbs was at for his time there, and we got him. They promoted Scotty Montgomery up to assistant offensive coordinator, I think it is, yeah. And so, and they got this guy from Alabama. I'm sorry, I don't know his name right off, but they got him from Alabama, and he was like I said, he was the coach that was there when Jahmyr Gibbs was there. He was the running backs coach there, so they have enough faith in him to get him here. So I don't have any problem with anything that the Lions do as far as that's concerned or players are concerned. Until it doesn't work, I have faith in Brad Holmes and company. So whatever they do, I got faith in them. So
yeah, how will that be? I know it's got to be extremely difficult with you guys losing Ben Johnson. I mean, does that cause like an apprehension? Because how long has he been with Detroit? He's done such wonderful work with you all.
4 years. Yeah, he's been with them about 4 years, but he has only been offensive coordinator for 3 of them, because the first year he was assistant coordinator. So, because we had Lynn, we had Lynn as an offensive coordinator, and he got fired, and that's when Dan was calling most of the plays near the end of the season, but Ben was in conference with Dan. That's when he started to get his, and that's when he got promoted the next year to offensive coordinator. But yeah, I don't know. I think the only thing that's gonna change with the Lions as far as the play calling between Ben and the new play caller, who, by the way, is tutored Ben. So I don't see that much changing in the offense. But the fact that Ben has dynamic plays, he is a brilliant offensive coordinator, and he does make dynamic plays. I mean, those hook and ladders, nobody does. That's high school backyard stuff. To bring that into the pro football world, and it works, and that's the good thing about these. I don't think that the plays are dynamic unless the players make them dynamic, and the players were on point with that. I've never seen so many trick plays that the Lions have used this far work every time, as I see in other teams. Other teams, sometimes it doesn't work at all. They get sacked, an interception, and the Taysom point, and this is the reason why a lot of our things were backfiring in the game against the Commanders. They had a trick play with JMO going out to pass, and he threw an interception, which they tell you, if you can't find a guy open, throw the ball out of bounds because you won't take an intentional grounding. You're not a quarterback because the quarterback passed it off to you. So you have the freedom to do whatever you want. He could have just threw the ball out of bounds. No, he tried to get it in two guys. I said, Goff is having a problem all day throwing the ball, and you're trying to throw it into two people. Come on, J-Mo, think. So, and that's the first time I've ever seen one of their trick plays fail, to tell you.
You guys are really – yeah, you guys, and it seems like he was the missing piece because that just ignited your offense across the board. I still remember when you guys had Coach Caldwell way back. I remember he just seemed so even tempered or anything. If you had to do a comparison with the Lions from today, because now we're at the end of the season, everybody's 0-0 again. How difficult would it be to get back to the playoffs, and what similarities, if any, do you see with the Lions and the coaches of old, specifically Coach Caldwell?
I think Caldwell, he was a student of the game as well. I think the thing about Caldwell, though, because he was so even keel, he never showed a lot of emotion. And see, the Lions need that kind of stuff. They need Dan Campbell emotion. And Caldwell wasn't a bad coach. I think he had only one losing season here of the four. I think the problem with the Lions front office is they were impatient to win, more playoff games because they got into three of them, and in his time, and they didn't win any of those three. But I think that's more about the team around. He had to play with what he had, and he did a very good job with that. But Dan Campbell, if you ever listen to any of his locker room speeches, that dude will make you run through a wall.
Yes, and he used to play as a Lion.
Yeah.
So, he knows what it's like. And I think that is the difference, when you've played for the same team.
In a bad season, too. He was part of the 0-16 season. So he knows he knows this team. He knows how horrible it is to the fans. And he wants to win just for the fans. I really don't think he wants to win for the organization. It's just the fact that he's like a little kid inside him. He's a fan too. And he wants to see this team succeed. And that's what he tries to put forth to all the players. He said, look, this is no longer a destination where it's the Detroit Lions. I can do anything. Oh, hell no. If you got that mentality, you need to get out. Because we're trying to win here. We're trying to do something different. We're trying to run through walls. That's why I love Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, because I keep trying to tell everybody, y'all 31 teams in this league aren't like us. We have a different kind of mentality than any of y'all do. You might not see it because you don't see those back room in conferences he has and stuff like that. You don't see that. You don't see the attitude this team has when they're out in the practice field. They're having fun and they're doing their job. And that's the only two things that you need to do in this game to be successful, And sometimes you have a hiccup. I understand that. And it's, like I said, it's got to be a curse thing. But whatever the case may be, they're doing a terrifically good job.
Yeah, it feels like Caldwell's been gone longer than he has, but he left in 2018. That's only, 7 seasons ago. Not even a full 7 seasons yet. In the fall, it'll be 7 seasons. And he finished with a 56.3 win rate, which is not bad at all. 36 wins, 28 losses. I mean, that's why I wanted the comparison of the Lions you see today, because that is not a losing coach. I remember when he was fired, he only coached from 2014 to 2017, and they released him in 2018.
Yeah, and hired Matt freaking Patricia for him.
Yes, Matt
and that
Patricia.
Was a bit worst move that this franchise ever made. Why would you go get
the Patriots, right?
Yeah, and he actually said that we're going to instill Patriots kind of discipline. No, you can't be doing that. This is a different team. This is not the Patriots of the NFC. Nope, it ain't going to work.
I knew that he had to go crawling back to Bill Belichick for his job too.
Yeah, and on top of it, now he's the Ohio State defensive coordinator, which I think is hilarious. Because now Ohio State has somebody to blame when they get beat by Michigan yet again.
But that's the same season that Gronkowski retired because he didn't want to go to Detroit as well. And then when Tom came back, Tom took him down to Tampa Bay. That was wild. I still didn't understand why.
I don't blame him. A lot of people were getting on Gronk about that. I said, I don't blame him. Would you want to come here and play? I don't. I wouldn't. If I was a top-notch player and I had to play, Stafford was great. Stafford was the only player we had on this team that was anything good. And it's like, dude, I wouldn't want to come here either. So,
but you guys really invested in your drafts, and I mean, it has really paid off like rapidly. You know, we always talk about everybody should be built to go to the playoffs every 7 to 10 years, but you guys did it extremely fast once Campbell came in.
We should have went to the playoffs the first or the second year when we were 9-8 and we beat Green Bay, but we lost to Seattle, and the Rams got screwed by Seattle that year in the playoffs because there was some bad call that was against Jalen Ramsey at the time, and it was a stupid. It wasn't even a call. Come on. And then Seattle got in position and scored the go-ahead touchdown. So I was like, man, come on. But
yeah, and they didn't
the next year
out either, like New Orleans did when they lost the playoffs. They sent they were circulating a whole petition. What's up, Jeffrey? How you doing? Oh, good night to you, Blue. Be safe out there, brother. He said good night. And Jeffrey, Panthers fan, good evening. Good to see you tonight, Jeffrey Stamper. Always. I mean, so you're pretty confident that you guys will get back.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to win a division this year. I think the competition in the division itself is just good. I mean, we could say this right now based on the personnel that we have, but you alluded to the other day that we have 30 free agents that we have to sign. We'll probably sign 80% of those, re-sign 80% of those, and the other 20% can go somewhere. But you know, there's all kinds of things going on right now with the Lions, and I think that Brad Holmes has got a light bulb going off in his head with this Garrett situation. You know that Max Crosby is another guy that said they want to put him on a trade block because he's not happy in the Raiders, even though he keeps saying that he's a Raiders fan for life. He's a Raiders guy for life. Mm-hmm. But you get sick of that. And you keep coming to work every day and you keep losing.
Yeah. Yeah. The connection there. And happy birthday, Jeffrey. I didn't know your birthday was February 11th. Mine was the 4th. So mine was a week ahead of yours. So happy birthday to you and Valentine's Day as well. You could tell that Jeffrey's really a fan. You probably saw what he said about Valentine's. I'm just like, okay, thanks, Jeffrey. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would not be surprised if I see Max Crosby ending up in Detroit. Like, he doesn't want to do it, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's out of your control.
Yeah, I think it's his frustrations are starting to come forward, and it's kind of like what Matt Stafford was going through, and the reason why he got traded to the Rams. A lot of people said that, you know, it was bad because he got traded to Rams because he got traded to Rams because he knew he was going to go through another change in the front office, and he's been through too many of those, and I don't blame him. You want to go somewhere you're going to succeed. The Rams were right there for the time being. You know, nothing was going right with McVay and Goff. Goff was off the McVay bandwagon, so he said, you know, it's this perfect time. And Brad Holmes became our GM, and he was from LA, so that was perfect. Everything fell in line for both teams. Rams went on to win the Super Bowl. We got a lot of picks. We've been getting better every year. Our record's been better every year. So I mean, it's just a matter of time for the Lions. I hope that we get a Super Bowl within the next 2 years. I felt by this year we would have one, but I did say in the beginning when Dan Campbell was hired that year 5 better be the end all be all and everything. And guess what? It's year 5.
Yes. Everybody knows that I'm like, listen, I will be on this show wearing a Lions shirt. Yes, I'm a Panthers fan, but the Lions go to the Super Bowl. I will be one of the first people when the Super Bowl ends to be purchasing a shirt. Like that's what I did when the Panthers won the NFC. And they're like, your Carolina Panthers or the NFC champions. I already had it pulled up online and ordered me and my uncle a shirt before they sold out. I ordered us a shirt and a hat at the same time because I know I already had it in my box, already in the little cart, ready to check out, and if your team does not win or if it's a close game, they got to hurry up and make the other team available. All of a sudden, these shirts that they pre-printed are not there. And thanks so much, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's saying he heard Deebo Samuel was coming to the Carolinas, but I looked that up, Jeffrey. I don't see that right now. And thank you for your birthday wish. I appreciate that. And
that would be a good move. I mean, either T.Y. Higgins or Deebo. Man, I love what Carolina's doing. I think they're getting better. I think their mentality's getting better.
They're saying he's Sports Illustrated saying he wants to go to the Steelers. That his desire is saying he wants to go to the Steelers. So he may be wearing black and yellow, Jeffrey. I mean, it would be great in Carolina. We could definitely use him. You know, I don't know. Of course, a lot of players are coming out saying they want to come back. We want to make sure Adam Thielen comes back, but he's, Adam's been up there for a while. He's getting up there, but it's just the luck of the draw. And at this time, it's kind of too early to just figure out where everybody goes,
Well, you still got Xavier there. I mean, he's a young guy, and he's turning into one of the league's better receivers. I mean, you guys got a lot of promise. You really do. And I'm kind of seeing a parallel when you have the right coach in place and you have the right mindset in your front office. I can see the parallels to them in the Lions in a lot of ways, because now they're starting to get it. And, it did take CJ Stroud to get benched one time for a minute and say, hey, dude, just collect your thoughts.
Right.
Don't make the game bigger than you're trying to make it.
Bryce got benched.
Yeah, Bryce just –
everybody said CJ because they both were interchangeable.
Yeah, Bryce. That's what I meant, Bryce. My bad.
Well, no, I got you. I knew who you meant.
But Bryce learned his lesson. I mean, I don't know if he learned his lesson, but I think he got his head right. I think that's what it was. I think he was trying to make the game too big for him when he was out there, and he didn't do very good in spots. But then when he came out there, it was like a reincarnated quarterback. It was like, wow, this dude has some talent. And I mean, the whole league took notice of him.
He used his size, the stuff that people were talking about was more advantageous to him because he was able to, dodge tackles, squirm. He literally became a running quarterback on his own because he had to overcompensate for the O-line that we still are working on trying to get a better O-line.
But it's much better than it was last year.
It is, but I think it's because Bryce made it better. Every team is only led by their quarterback. T. Higgins, we wish, T. Higgins would be really, really good. But I mean, the verdict's still out.
Changer.
It's definitely a game changer. Guys, we went over tonight. We're at the top of the second hour. We want to make sure we have a sign off with enough time to do our little credits at the end. We want to thank everybody that came on for all the likes, the loves, the shares. And we want to thank everybody that came on tonight. B-Strilla, thank you so much. You guys, tell everybody how to find your podcast that you're on, B-Strilla. I know you said it's not scripted right now as far as time, but when it is on, tell them how to find you.
So we're on YouTube right now. We do have a social media platform on Instagram too. It's the One Ass Cheek Three Toes, as the moniker says there. That usually comes on like Sunday mornings on football season time at 11:30 a.m. on Sundays. So I know some of you guys go to church. Sorry about that. Just put an earpiece in. Listen to the Lord and listen to us at the same time.
My God.
Amen.
He's trying to make me be back because I do be at church at 11 o'clock. Like literally, I'll be at church. And we want to also thank Mike Tipton that came on earlier from the Tipping Point. He has his thing, and of course Jay Train, who's always on it. He'll be on tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with Mac, the producer of Northeast Professional Sports. They do this whole NFL history thing, and then on Sunday morning, now that the NFL season has concluded, we'll be on the Sunday morning sports show on Roku. Make sure you guys download the app. This show will re-air now. It's 11 o'clock, 12/12 in 3 hours. So if you came on at the tail end and you want to get in on part of the discussion that myself and all the other gentlemen I just mentioned were on, then you can make sure you check that out. And also it will re-air tomorrow at 10 a.m. on the Huddle Sports Network. And so with that, B-Strilla, Brian, I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. And with that, we will say goodnight. Everybody enjoy the remainder of your Valentine's weekend.
Peace.